What up? What up? I got anything in my teeth? What up? What up? Oh yeah, let me turn the sound off. I don't have another monitor, so I'm gonna have to like watch the stream and stuff in the chat from my phone. It's my first stream, so anybody a part of it, you're part of history right now. Yo, what up, D Dot? Yeah, we were talking like before the stream started. Yeah, I appreciate you coming out, bro, for real. I told you I was nervous. I like I've been so apprehensive of doing like live streams. You know, just something about being that vulnerable. You know, kind of like throws me off a little bit. Yeah, this is a beat I made like just a couple days ago. But let me switch over. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. We just gonna give it a few minutes. Like I really don't have nothing planned for this stream. Honestly, I just wanted to celebrate like the response that I've been getting to the single today, to the like the video. Shout out to my boy Solo. Like we put together like the skits leading up to the production, like leading up to the day, like the release of the music today. So like just from the beginning to now, like the response has just been beautiful. So I was like, yo, let's just hang out today. I don't really got nothing planned. Just wanna rock with the people that's been rocking with me. So yo, so yeah, y'all gonna have to get used to this. I'm gonna be looking down on my phone, just making sure I don't miss nobody in the chat. Yeah, I've been using FL Studio since '07. Nah. Let me take that back. I've been using it since like maybe '09, but I had like version 7. Like I started out with a pirated copy, but I eventually upgraded and bought my own and stuff. But yeah, I have no desire to learn any other DAWs. Like people say you gotta learn Ableton, you gotta learn Logic, you gotta learn Pro Tools. Like I really have no desire to learn another DAW. Like you gotta you gotta just stick with what you know. Like I feel like people that say, "Oh, you got to learn every one of them." I mean, you may be in a studio situation where you know somebody pull out Ableton and you don't have access to FO Studios, for example. Like, all right, I don't know my way around that, but for the most part, I'm making beats for myself. I mean, I might get into doing production for other people, but I like making beats on my own. I thinking after this album, Cause this was just a joint I kind of put together. Like I was high one night and I just kind of put this together, and I was just like, yo, this is actually kind of fire. Yo, is you too? So you started it off with you started out with FL Studios back in like oh 07, oh 09? Hold on. Pull this up. Yo, like this is the only plugin. Like this is like one of the only plugins that I paid for. Like I use mostly free stuff. I'm not talking about getting like illegal copies of plugins, but like if I could find like a decent sounding free plugin, or like I feel like I'm not gonna pay more than like $50 for plugins right now I until I start making money off this shit. Honestly, like I want to get Fab Filter Pro Q. Like that's the only plugin, like the expensive ones everybody be talking about all the time. That's the only one that I want to like actually drop the bread on. But I'm not really pressed. I'm gonna be real with you. Yeah, like you can track out all this stuff and upload it into another DAW. Like I'm collaborating with another artist. This dope group called Wake in April. We supposed to be doing a track together. There was some issues with like tracking everything out. I don't know if it was just how I tracked it out, or if it's like an issue with moving something from FL Studios to Ableton. But like that's the only reason why the collaboration, hasn't really been moving the way that I've been wanting it to. But yeah, like I don't know. Like I really don't see a point of like having 12 dolls in your computer. Like just learn the one that you love and just get that. What VST is that? Um, it's called Glassy Piano by Sample Son. It's a dope plugin. Like it has that dope like 90s, like E piano, like early, like late 80s, early 90s R&B sound. That's why I was like I heard it and I was like I haven't heard anybody like other than like like stuff like analog lab has some libraries like that, but that's also like a $200 plugin. This was only like 50, and I think I got it on sale. I think it was like $20. No, it was 30, and I paid 20 for it. Oh, thank you, babe. Yo, I recommend it. Yo, like I feel you on that. Like like I work in like my day job is IT. So every day I'm dealing with people that don't know how this shit works. And not like to be honest, a lot of us don't know how this shit works. We just, use the manual and try to figure it out the best we can. But there's some people that understand like, hey, we're all in this shit, like blindly trying to figure this shit out, and there's other people that just try to blame you for everything or blame the products or whatever. And I'm like, it's the same thing with music production. It's like, bro, just take the time to learn your shit. It's that simple. And like we all got like I may know a lot about certain mixing techniques and stuff like that. But then somebody can show me something I have no idea about, or somebody asks me to do something, and I'm like, I have no idea how to do that. And you just gotta like just take the time out to learn it. I don't know why people get so up in arms when they don't know something. Yeah, I'm constantly on plugin boutique, yo. Like, I'm signed up for the email, like the email list whenever they have sales and stuff. I'm always eyeing stuff. Like, other than like Fab Filter stuff, like every time that Sound Toys goes on sale, I just be thinking like, all right, I'm gonna grab Decapitator, or I'm gonna grab Echo Boy or something like that. But again, it's still kind of like one of those things where I'm not gonna touch it until like I start really making money off of it. So, I'll upgrade my plugins. Matter of fact, a spot, not a spot, but it's this developer, Analog Obsessions. All of their mixing plugins, like they're free. Like I'd recommend, donating to their Patreon. Like it's only like a couple dollars a month. Like I try to toss them something every once in a while, because I'm constantly using their plugins. Like, so if you want some high quality analog sounding, like compressors and EQs. What else they got? De-essers, transient shapers. Like if you want, just anything you can really think of for the most part. Like plug-in wise, especially the compressors. That's what I kind of use most of the time. Like I use their Buster SE for drums and really like mastering. Like when you get to the glue stage of the chain. I use their Buster SE pretty much on every mix that I do. And then they have their Pultec emulation, the Rare SE. I use that one. Like those are pretty much the two that I use every time, but they have plenty of them. So I always tell people, yo, if you got a plugin that you really like, or you see something you really like, see if there's a free alternative that can try to match the sound that you're going for. Like I paid for this one because I didn't hear anything else sounding like this and getting the sound exactly how I wanted it to sound, like that late 80s, early 90s R&B. I don't see that nowhere else. So I just like, yo, I gotta drop the bread on this. Yeah, I like Sound Toys. Like they have this plugin that they put out for free during Black Friday last year called Little Radiator, and it's basically like a preamp distortion type plugin. It's really good. Like I put it on, like if I want to fatten up some bass, or just kind of give it that grit noise, like whenever, like with something like a piano or even 808s. Like I rarely use it because it's like it's really powerful, but like it's so it can be kind of overwhelming. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. It can be kind of overwhelming, so you really got to be delicate with it. But whenever I really want to get that like distorted grit sound, I always go for that one. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stop this beat. I'm kind of tired of listening to it now. Matter of fact, let's pull up the session for the beat that I made. For Found My Way. Yo, I got the free Contact player, and I'm learning that a lot of libraries are not compatible with it. but it's like from the stuff that I use in it is dope. Like there's actually this Instagram page that I follow. I think it's called Wave Factory. Let me look it up real quick. Wave. You know what? It's crazy. I've never like actually tried to read what it's called. It's called Wave Foundry. Hold on, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Yeah, I follow them, and they tell me about all the best deals and free plugins and free contact libraries. But everything that I've used from Contact, I love it. I actually just the default upright bass in the factory Contacts library, like when you first download the Contact player, like that one alone has been in so many of my tracks. Yeah, guitar rig with Contact is dope. Like actually, there's this free guitar plugin called Vital. Well, no. Vital's the synth, the wavetable synth. It's called Vinyl Guitar, and it's it's very plain, but I like it because I could use stuff like Guitar Rig and just make it sound like however I want it to sound. So you kind of start off with like um, this basic sounding guitar, like really dry sounding guitar, and then you use something like Guitar Rig, or like I said with Little Radiator, or like even using a chorus effect. You could turn it into whatever. Honestly, to be honest, like I think a lot of people sleep on just the factory plugins that come in your DAW, like FL Studios. Like there's been plenty of times where I've been hunting for a plugin or paid for a plugin or something like that, and then I'll come across like a video or something, and they show me how to do the exact same thing that I was hunting for with this plugin or hoping to do with this plugin, just for me to realize, oh, I could do this with what's some of the factory plugins in here. Like the upright bass. I was just talking about that. Like if you really, I mean, it takes a little bit of time, but you could do the same thing with Boo bass. Honestly, like like the thing is, we're trying to replicate like real sounding instruments, but for the most part, like you're not gonna be able to do that with a digital plugin. Like you're not gonna do that. Like you can get close enough, but to sit here and try to like replicate it, you're not gonna be able to do it. Yeah, Flex. Flex was the one that made me go, okay. Like I was hunting for like a realistic guitar, and then I pull up Flex, and then they have this free guitar library, and every guitar you think of, like you can get a dirty electric guitar, you get a clean Spanish guitar, get a really chill, reverbed out, like psychedelic, like Jimi Hendrix type guitar. You got all that right there in FL Studios, and you like people buying plugins and doing stuff like that. You got it right here in your door. Like there's certain shit that I probably have used like one time, and have rarely, if ever, even attempted to try to use it again. All right, let me pull up this. Oh, and Patcher. Like, yeah, I've seen some people do some crazy shit with Patcher. Like, it's nuts. All right, so this is the session for the track that I made for Found My Way. I called it Bout Something. It took me forever to write this song, honestly. Like I was talking to my boy Michael Washington earlier today, and I was telling him how like the line in the chorus, uh, right from the start, man, I came from the heart, then I came out the dark and I found my way. When I said I came out the dark and I found my way, that was the line that kind of like started everything. Uh, but I sat on it. I sat on it for a while. It was like one of the first tracks that I made after my wife and I came home with our son from the hospital after she gave birth, and it was like it was kind of like the first time, because you could kind of just get in your head like now you're a dad. Like I held off having kids for a long time. I mean mainly because I didn't have the person I wanted to have kids with. But even then, there was moments where I didn't think I would have kids just because I was afraid of it taking away from things like music. But then to turn around and like, kind of just sit down and reflect, like being in our new home and, being married and coming home with our son, like it was kind of like one of those times where like I really just sat down and kind of took in just where I'm at, like where I found my way, like I found my way to where I am now. And then that line hit me, and then it just kind of went from there. So it's that's kind of like the main focus of this album that I'm working on. Like that, this song is the first single for. How like just this different perspective I have since becoming a husband and a father, and how the things that I used to think were, I guess, holding me back or in my way are actually the things that have been driving me and motivating me the most. So that's why I wanted to do this single the way I did. That's why I had my son in the video, and it was actually my wife's idea to put my son in the video. But it was kind of one of those things where I started really sitting down and thinking about it, and thinking like, okay, this is perfect. This is it. Just kind of it was like everything just kind of felt like it was coming full circle. Oh, appreciate it, man. Yeah, like it was kind of one of those things, like, cause I feel like a lot of people, um, because of how we grew up, you know, like growing up without much, and then just kind of hearing, not really having the right people in your ear, kind of leading you in the right direction. So you can be misled on a lot, and I was misled to think that being a husband, having children was gonna hold me back. And but I mean, when you go through, like when you really learn and like sit down and like learn the stories of a lot of our favorite artists, especially in hip hop, you hear like, oh, I got my kid, I had a mouth to feed, and like it really drove me to, you know, drove me to work harder, drove me to where I am, like, was the thing that really catapulted me into like really going like 110%. I mean, shit. Busta Rhymes just talked about it. He was during the BET Awards when he was getting his, I think it was a Lifetime Achievement Award. He was talking about how he knew he had kids to feed. So after he got kicked out of leaders of the middle school, he was just that was his mindset. It was like, well, I gotta figure out how to, you know, get shit popping because I got mouths to feed. And then he became the artist that we all know and love Busta Rhymes for, like off of just that pivotal moment and having, those responsibilities, like really could drive you into being like way better than you thought you would be, or that you thought you had the ability to be, because you have to at that point. sometimes that pressure, like, just like this, the cliche saying, like, pressure makes diamonds, but it's true. Like, it really could be the difference between, like, being good and just, kind of going with the flow, and then just, becoming legendary. Hold on, I missed your comment. Um, yeah, like I watched videos about like people scoring with, cause native instruments, the people that own contact now, post a lot of videos, and they send me stuff too. Uh, like promotion and stuff after of course, get their products, and to see what people can do, like you would think, as realistic as those sounds sound, like you would think that it's a whole orchestra room full of people in an orchestra, soundtrack and everything. But it's like, nah, it's right here in FL Studios or whatever DAW they're using to create this stuff. Like, that's something I definitely want to get into now that I'm back into music production. Like, I want to get beyond just making beats for like artists and stuff, and start doing stuff like scoring. Oh, we got some more people in the chat, or watching us. Yo, what's up? Make sure y'all, you know, say hello in the chat. I'm new to this. I was telling my boy, D Dot, aka Rusty S, for the day, um, that I'm a little nervous. This is my first time going live. I've been very apprehensive about going live, but because of the because of just how excited and happy I am about the response and the love I've been getting from this song, I just wanted to be able to hang out with y'all. So I really appreciate everybody that's been supporting the song so far. I really appreciate y'all taking the time out and joining the live stream. Please make sure y'all, y'all just like, just ask me whatever. Tell me what y'all wanna hear, what y'all wanna talk about. I just gave the story, the inspiration behind the song, and how it came to be. So, any other questions, anything else I got going on, but I'm about to go over this beat real quick. Oh, no, I get you. I get what you're saying. I mean, honestly, before I even met my wife, I didn't have any interest in getting married. Honestly, like anybody that knew me before I got married would tell you, like, I would be loud and boastful about it. Like, I would never get married. Never wanted to get married. Never wanted to have kids. And then, hey, man, things can change when you meet the right person. You know, and and from the time that I met her to now, it's only been like, I mean, not met her because we had met way before, we started dating. But from the time we started dating to now, like, it had only been like 4 years, and we were already married. We were already having kids. We already bought a house together. Like, it's really, you could go from spending your whole life saying you don't want to get married, and then just that right person just turn around, just changes all that in the blink of an eye. And it's a beautiful thing, yo. I wouldn't take nothing back. Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, you know, you can always hit me up. We can talk about it privately if you don't want to really get into it during the stream. But like, I definitely feel you on that, and I can elaborate more. But I was definitely in the same. I was in the same mindset. I'm pretty sure that we had similar feelings about marriage and children and the future of society in general before I met my wife and had a son of my own. But we'll talk. We can get into it privately. You can just hit me up. But yeah, let's get into this track. So started off with this. Yo, funny thing is, I used to start all of my tracks off in C, cause I didn't know any better. Like I would watch like FL Studio tutorials, and I would immediately start everything off in in C, just because that's where everybody else will start it, and not realizing, oh, all of my songs are in the same key. So this is like one of my earliest tracks, and it's like all of my earliest tracks were always in the key of C. Like, Yes, I Am a Dreamer, every track is in C. All right, and let me see. Like I said, I always go to free plugins before I like try to buy anything different, right? This thing right here, oh, you can't hear the music? Okay, that's weird. All right, let me check real quick. Yeah, that's the right one. I tested this out yesterday. Let me get back on this one. All right, let me see. All right, I'm gonna just play the music, and you let me know, and you can hear it.
Try your audio input source. On sources, I'm watching. On sources,
Oh,
press the plus sign.
which one? Oh,
See audio input. Capture. Yeah.
uh,
Add source.
yeah, but I put desktop audio.
Turn it up.
I'll turn it up. See, I thought it was too loud. All right, what about now? Yeah, I just said I'm gonna turn it all the way up. Still can't hear it? Oh, okay. Okay. Yo, so I turned it down because I did like a test recording yesterday, and it sounded like it was too loud. Okay, all right, appreciate it. Yo, we're gonna get it right. I promise you. Promise you. But yeah. So I started all my tracks off on the C. And I'm gonna be real. I can't get. I was over here about to be like get into some technical shit. I really don't know. Like I could kind of get into the technical jargon and stuff. Like I kind of use presets a lot of the time for the most part, like, when it comes to my tracks. Matter of fact, let me pull it back up. Let me pull it back up the display. All right, here we go. So yeah, I can't tell you technical jargon. I'm gonna be real with you. What does it say? Yeah, it was because that's what fooled me. Like it sounded like when I went back and recorded. When I went back and listened to the test recording, it sounded distorted. Like it sounded real crazy. But now that you're saying it like that, I think it might have been my video editing software. I'm not too sure, but yeah, like I'm big on presets. Like what is this? Origin, the lo-fi preset on this one. But yeah, I was saying this one right here is Somatics Origin. Now, I will warn you, you download this, they're gonna harass your email box. Like, but it's worth it. It's probably the best lo-fi plugin that I've ever used. And I got like no, I can't talk. Tape Mellify and tape cassette too. And I've used like isotope vinyl, and I've even used like the demo for what's that one everybody loves. I used it like a while ago. It's the one everybody uses. Whatever it is, I'll think of it later. But none of them really have compared to this right here. And they also similarly have this dope reverb plugin. It's real. What I was saying with Little Radiator, that one's like really powerful and it can distort and sound crazy real fast. This one is actually the opposite. It's mad weak. But like if you really, oh yeah, RC20, that's the one. Um, yeah, that one's really good. I'm not gonna hate on it, but it's still, for me personally, just doesn't touch that cymatics origin. Um, but yeah, like this space light, it's cool. Very weak on sound, but if you want something subtle that you could put right on the mixer track, like yeah, this is a good one. I think anything else like Valhalla, Vintage Verb, or I use the reverb plate from what's that company called? And it's my favorite company too. No, no, you good, man. We talking. We talking. Nah, you ain't gotta apologize, man. I'm down to answer questions. Uh, I mean, we got 2 hours or an hour and a half to kill, so I'm down. But I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate you talking to me because if nobody was gonna be talking, I was just gonna be running through this. But yeah. What's that company called? In fact, I don't even know why I'm asking. I could just pull it up. Yeah, Reverb Arteria. Arteria is hands down my favorite plugin company. Like, I I will say, I've only gotten these stuff. I've only gotten these stuff whenever they were having some kind of promotion or something. Yeah, Valhalla. It depends on what you're trying to make. Like if I'm trying to make something real spacey and like especially with effects and stuff like that, like or like ad libs on vocals or something. If I'm doing vocal recording, like putting something like Valhalla Supermassive on it really like gives you that really washed out spacey feel. But any like upfront instruments or the main vocals or something, I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it at all. Like I'd put it on its own like reverb send or whatever, and then like dial it in just a little bit. But I'm definitely not putting it right there on the track because it's just too much. It'll swallow the whole sound, and it'll sound crazy and washed out, and like it destroys pianos. Like I don't use Valhalla Supermassive on pianos at all. Even the reverb plate that I just showed you from Alteria, that could be way too strong. But I love it on like my vocals, like whenever I'm doing ad libs or some maybe like talking intro vocals underneath, I'll throw it on there and just have it tucked under the beat. Sounds great. But anything I'm trying to put up front, it just makes you sound washed out and crazy. So if you like subtle reverbs, because like I said, I use presets because it already starts like mostly like 30% dry, and it's perfect. It's just enough to make it sound the way I want it to sound. Like I will say, their instrument plugins a lot better, especially because I use augmented strings a lot, and I use their Analog Lab, which I only got that because I got it free with my audio interface. But no, their effects are dope. Their delay plugin, like the reverb is cool, like Valhalla Supermassive, it could be a little too much. But their delay plugin, matter of fact, I can show it to you real quick. I just pull it up on this mixer track. Delay tape. This thing, like I heard I haven't used it. I haven't used the other product, the UAD. I haven't used theirs, which like everybody swears they're like the best plugin company ever. I haven't used it, so I don't know. But it's a spot on like emulation to what they use, like their delay that everybody's just in love with, and it's definitely one of the best ones that I've used before. But yo, like the stock like Fruity Delay 3 or Fruity Delay 2, like both of those are like great. I only got that delay plugin just because it came from my audio interface. But before then, I didn't need another one because Fruity Delay 3 is like been the best one, and I use it everything. Yeah, Echo Boy. I use that one a lot. I haven't used it a lot. I will say I've seen people use it a lot. That's one of the Sound Toys plugins that I really wanted to use. I really want to get. Let's do these drums real quick. The cowbell. Let me see. Oh yeah, this is a trick I like to use for my hi-hat. Come over here to randomize. Just go to the velocities and just let it do its thing. I don't touch it after that unless I really want certain things. And then quantize, and then you go to, hold on, it's being stupid right now, hold on. Okay, humanize levels, go to hi-hats. Works every time, works like a charm every time. this is the one I was talking about from Analog Obsession. Oh no, actually, another good company is IK Multimedia, and this compressor thing on drums is crazy. Oh, what's good, Mike? Yo, we got Innocence in the building. What's up, bruh? Oh, let me pull the chat back up. Oh, they moved the chat. Okay. Nah, I can't do the velocities by hand, yo. That's so like a pain in the ass. Oh, so I use Valhalla Supermassive on the drums with this one. In most cases I don't, but I wanted it to have like a real spacey feel. And I turned the mix down way low because like we talked about, Valhalla is way too strong. And what was the other thing you said? We'll plug in playing the chords again. Oh. Yo, so you could really do this with any like electric piano plug-in, but I just use this one. Hey, yo, appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming through. Yo, Innocence, one of my favorite rap acts. They actually did a show not too long ago downtown Durham that I was able to go to about a month and a half ago. It was a minute ago. Yo, those dudes rock a show every time. Hey yo, the Valhalla Supermassive is free actually. Yep, Keyzone Classic. It's another free plugin too. Like I said, I'm not paying for plugins unless I can't find a free alternative for it. Like if I hear a sound or I have a sound that I really want to get, and okay, there's this $200 plugin that can get it for me. If I can find a free alternative that can get me where I need to be, like where I'm not compromising that much with sound, I'm a get it. But if I can't find it nowhere else, then I will go ahead and pay for it. Like I'll pay for it, but like this is like a basic E piano. Like you can get that anywhere. And yeah, Valhalla also has a free plugin called Supermassive. It's not as dope as Vince's Verb, admittedly, but it's still really good. And it's like a tons of presets. But yeah, you got to be really careful dialing this one in. Like you saw, I had it dialed in like less than 10% because of how strong it is. Like trying to go full throttle with it is nothing. But yeah, this is just the chord pattern I used. And really, this one is just like I transposed some keys. Like this was originally down here. No. I'm trying to remember how I did this. Okay. So this was originally right here. And then so this key, like this chord and this chord was pretty much the same. And then I just was doing some moving around and got to this. I'll do is I'll come in and I'll chop it with the slicer tool to get like the rhythm right here. Because before it was just like plain chords, and then I just cut it up until I get the rhythm I like. And the same trick, I use randomize and then I use strum, just so everything's not hitting at the same time, so it gives it that natural feel. Yeah, man. I mean, it happens. Like back in the day, because I always say I never like really buy plugins like that. Back in the day, the only plugin that I did buy and spend my money on was Nexus back in the day. And then I found out later everybody had it cracked, but I spent the money on it, and I brought it over to this thing, and I barely use it, because then I was able to find like free sounds that I didn't need to pay for. And then this is the hook part. Yo, and I tell you, everything before this part came so easy. And then for some reason, I couldn't come up with a counter melody to save my life. And I just like started clicking around or like playing on my keyboard and just kept going like, all right, what is it gonna sound? I just came up with this one randomly. So I be beating my head up against the wall until I figure it out. And then oh, you want to talk about a gem of a plugin? This simple thing right here from Angelic Vibes. If I need to layer something, this always works. This always works. I don't know what it is. It barely has sounds in it, honestly. Like it barely has sounds in it. You know, it has a few bells, a little bit of bass, some guitars, some keys, you know, pluck sounds. Like it barely has it, but for some reason, no matter what I'm putting together, I can always find, or like one of these will always layer with it. It's crazy. It even got some drum kits in it. I never use drum kits that come in plugins though. It's weird. I always just rather get the, download the packs. With this one, I just copied some of the chords from the main melody. I transposed it up one octave, and then just cut out what I didn't need. And then this is the full track. I try not to use a lot of sounds. Because matter of fact, like I was watching an interview recently with Manny Fresh, and he talked about how back in the day he only really made tracks with like 8 sounds. And like I like songs like, Back That Ass Up, Ha, Bling Bling, The Block Is Hot, like all of those like classic Cash Money albums, most of those beats are like only 7 or 8 sounds. And that just told me everything I needed to know. Like, all right, you need to make sure that you, instead of like throwing a bunch of stuff on a track, just try to make it sound dope with as little as possible. Because you get into like all the technical stuff, and that's really just for us, like the artists, like for the most part. Like, oh, we really want to make like this epic, super like transition heavy, 1, 2, 3 like transitions into like different beats and stuff like that. And sometimes that is dope with songs like there's songs like what's that Drake Travis Scott song? I'm blanking on a lot right now. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Sicko Mode. Damn. Like, something like Sicko Mode. Like something like that works, but for the most part, like it's really the simplest tracks that the audience is like they're gonna like vibe to, dance to. You know, it's and then you got all this stuff in there, and like there's no room for the artist to rap. So for him to go like y'all only did tracks for like 7 to 8 songs, I was like, all right, I need to focus on that. I need to focus on just picking the dopest sounds that I can get and just make that sound as dope as little as possible. Yeah, Nexus is for like electronic, like dance music and stuff. It's not really made for hip hop. You can find some dope stuff in there. You can make it work. Like I made it work before, but it's not really made for hip hop, honestly. So now like I'm not really nothing in Nexus for the most part. Like I might still pull a bass out of it or like maybe a layer out of it every once in a while, but for the most part I'm not using it. And that used to be my thing, like when I was younger. Like they used to be I used to love, but that was really the only outside of like what came in FL Studios. That was really the only plugin I had that like I could really get the sounds for. What you mean that was only like half the truth what he was saying? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there might have been more to it. You know, I saw the interview, but you know, people like to embellish to make the story sound more interesting or to make it sound like more epic than what it was. But it still kind of made me think like, okay, I don't need a lot. And you really break it down and you really look at a lot of tracks and like what goes into them. Like there's not a lot of sounds that go into it. Not as many as you would think in like most of like the most popular songs and the biggest songs that stick with us. See, I'm more of a melody guy too. Like I really don't care about drums like that. Like people are real heavy on drums. Like like I never start a beat drums first. Like I'm always melody first, chord progression first. Like I'm not really trying to come up with the most complex beat like drums and shit. Like so yeah, I'm with you on that, but I still feel like there's a beauty in simplicity. I'm a big R&B guy too. Like I think I listen to R&B more than I listen to hip hop most of the time. And like there's a lot of like R&B music where it's real simple. It's supposed to be simple because you gotta have, you know, you just gotta the vocals or the artist, the lyrics, their vocal range. That's the main selling point. So they don't need a lot of instrumentation. It just has to complement them. And I feel like most of the music that I listen to, or most of the music that I've been a big fan of, I don't really feel like has a lot going on. It's just real simple kind of stuff. Like another thing that stuck with me, because I stopped making beats back in 2018. No, 2017. I stopped making beats. I got into it. I fell off. Like I was making beats as a kid. I didn't really know what I was doing. I really, so, and I growing up, we didn't have the internet. So I got my copy of FL Studios. And like I said, the only thing I had was Nexus. Because, I got online at school in the computer lab and was able to pay for, the plug-in because I was working stock for Forever 21 back in the day. So I saved up some money and I bought Nexus. And I had a flash drive. I'll take the flash drive, bought it, downloaded it, put, the key and everything on the flash drive and then went home. And then, but that was it. That was a lot of hassle too, because you're trying to hire from the teachers. So I really wasn't even looking to get nothing else. So I'm getting So I'm making beats, but I didn't really know what I was doing as far as like mixing and like really putting full songs together. So I stopped and just was doing like mixtape stuff for a minute just because I wanted something that sounded quality. And then I picked it back up back in like 2014 to till about 2017, and I stopped making beats just because even though like looking back, the stuff I felt like I was making was dope, but I was so caught up in like comparing myself to what everybody else was doing, and also like playing it side by side. I just couldn't understand why it wasn't working. Like why? Like I'm like, okay, I feel like the stuff I'm making is dope, but play it next to the stuff that's out like on the radio or like some of my favorite artists, like when I put it next to like their albums and stuff like that, it doesn't sound the same. The whole time I just didn't know how to mix. So it's like, yo, you can make whatever you want to make, but if you wanted it to sound good, like you wanted to make it sound as best as it could, you gotta learn how to mix. That's the biggest thing. And once I learned how to mix and I got my formula down, it was kind of like I'm gonna get as creative with as little or as much as I want. You know, like and I think that was the moment where like it really started to click for me. Cause what really brought me back, cause I watched like some clips from like T Pain's Nappy Boy radio streams, and there was this one particular clip like around this time last year or a couple years ago. There was a clip where he was going viral. Like he was just saying he was tired of everybody sounding the exact same. Do something else. Do something else. Like he was pissed, and I felt the same way. That's why it stuck with me. And I'm a big T Pain fan in general. So for that to come from him, it really like resonated with me. But uh, it was another clip that he was talking about like how you got to learn everything about the process. Like even if you're delegating it, because I've worked with other producers. I produced Yes I Am a Dreamer by myself, but then after that, I stopped making beats and I started like working with other producers that I found online, like through SoundCloud or BeatStars or YouTube or whatever. And then I ended up linking up with my boy Jerm Scorsese for my last album, God Made a Monster. And it was dope, like working with Germ, because sitting down with him and I actually got to see the process again for the first time in like a minute. Cause I'm not watching YouTube videos on like people making beats or tutorials or anything like that on how to do this and that. I'm just completely removed from making beats. And but when T Pain said that, like, cause I had already been playing around with it in my head. When T Pain said that, it just really like resonated with me. Cause yeah, I gotta know the terminology. I gotta know how I want my stuff to sound, so if I am working with somebody else, I can tell them how I want it to sound. Like I gotta learn how videos are made, so when it's time to shoot a music video, I'm able to, you know, like express, okay, this is what I want. Like, you know how awkward it is to go to a professional studio and you don't know and you like somebody asks you like what's your vocal chain, or like how do you want your stuff to sound. You have no idea. Like you have the stupidest, vaguest way of describing this stuff, and you coming in there like you're a professional, and then somebody's asking you some technical questions and you just like, yo, just make me sound like, instead of saying auto tune, you just like, yo, I need somebody to make me sound like T Pain. Or instead of like saying, yo, I want the distorted like megaphone effect, you're like pulling up, yo, you remember that song from Kanye West from Yeezus? What's the song? Black Skinhead. Yeah, I'm gonna play that for you on my phone. I want you to make me sound like this. That's crazy, and that lack of knowledge is also how people get taken advantage of. So I got back into making beats just so I could learn the process and ended up falling in love with it all over again. So and because of that, you get songs like this. You get Found My Way, and we got the data we got. Like I've always been terrible with rollouts. Like anybody can tell you. And making the music is my favorite part. It's always the promotion and the marketing plan and the budgeting and the business part of it is where like my eyes glaze over and I really just don't want to deal with it. I would try so hard to find people that could just take care of it for me. But then I would just run into a lot of people that don't know what the hell they're doing anyway. Either they don't know what they're doing, or like they want to market me, or like come up with a plan for me that's just like this copy and paste of the last guy they did. Even if me and him, or me and her, or whoever don't make music anywhere the same. And like it's crazy, like because you get frustrated and you just spend a lot of time procrastinating and you just realize you gotta learn this how to do stuff yourself. And then eventually, like the stars will align and you're able to like find a team and delegate the stuff. But like you really gotta learn how to do X, Y, and Z. I kind of went on this little rant, but basically that's what kind of led me to making beats. Was just another like clip of a live stream slash interview of T-Pain being tired of everybody sounding the exact same. Like I want to do a podcast episode about this. Anybody that's joining that haven't been on the channel for the first time, make sure you hit subscribe because I'm trying to get more podcasts out. But I wanted to, because it's kind of like my theory of why like hip hop hasn't hit number one all year. I can get into more details when I do the podcast episode, but like long story short, like everybody sound the same, and even Bow Wow got on the BET red carpet and said, everybody's making trash music, and it's a lot more than that going on, but I feel like just people are tired. People are tired, so like anybody just sitting there like comparing your stuff. Cause I'm always big on being unique. Like every release that I do, my first thought is let's do something that we haven't done before. It don't matter. Like when me and Germ sat down and we were doing God Made a Monster. He said he wanted to craft a sound that was perfect for me, and my voice. And he was like, "Yo, let's do like Yeezus, but not like Yeezus. Like we're gonna completely jack Kanye's style or nothing like that, but more like he did that sound once and never touched it again, and nobody's ever tried to do that sound justice." And I love Yeezus, but I won't sit here and act like it's like the best album in the world. But I like the direction that he was trying to go. And we just decided, I wanna I wanna go ahead and tackle this sound that has not been done before or since. And, just doing something that just hasn't been heard for the last like 10 years or whatever. And now I'm trying to do like a project. And I'm not gonna talk about it too much because right now we're still in the creative process, and I really don't like sharing my stuff when it's in like just infancy. Like if if it's near completion, like okay, I could share it, but I'm definitely not trying to like share my ideas as they're like still just rough drafts, like scribbles on a piece of paper. Like I don't want to do that because it's very like scatterbrained and not my best work, and I don't like presenting anything that's not like at its best. But even with this project, like I'm trying to kind of meld my different styles from over the years together into like this very cohesive body of work. And even that, tying everything together has been a challenge. But I love that, and I don't think a lot of people are like love the challenge anymore. I think it's just about doing what they feel like is going to sell as it sells. Like, but and just doing it for the money and just doing it to fit like the algorithm or just kind of play it safe. Like I think people are tired, and I think that's why like music just really hasn't. Like I think the people are just tired of buying into like whatever, and that's why hip hop is in the position it's in right now. On the 50th anniversary of the creation of hip hop of all years, like we running into this. Yo, appreciate that, man. Yeah, yeah, like I that's always been my problem with like trying to like make beats for artists. But and I know a lot of people just kind of cave because this is the business and that's how you got to do it. But when somebody tells me like, "Yo, can you make me a song that sounds like X artist?" I'm already uninterested. I'm just completely uninterested. Like, there's a difference between being inspired by somebody and then just completely biting them. I can't, and I'm not gonna be a part of it. Uh, I, I've always wanted to make money off of my music, but I'm not willing to make those kind of compromises. Cause then what's the point? That's not what I got into doing music for in the first place. I didn't get into making music to sound like everybody else or to fit a certain standard. Like, like people worried about AI generated music. I think the only people that should be worried about AI generated music are the people that are AI generated music, aka you are an imitation of what is already out there. Because that's all AI is doing is just recreating the shit that you could find, but now they could just do it faster. Yeah, but it's kind of an oxymoron. Like when you say, because it is kind of like a quantity over quality thing now, but it's kind of an oxymoron because a lot of people put out a bunch of music at one time. Like some people put out like like 3, 4 albums in 1 year, which I think is nuts. But it's all about trying to sound like trying to you know remain in the zeitgeist, like trying to make sure that you're not forgotten. But like when you put out an album 3 months after your last album, or you put out an EP and now you put out an album like 2 months later, I've already forgotten the previous thing. So you were worried about me forgetting about your previous work, but you put out something immediately after that catches my attention, and now that previous work you were afraid that I was gonna forget about, I've already forgotten about because now you just put this shiny new album in front of me. Like I get being on a run and trying to capitalize on it, but like I can't think of, oh, well, this album is gonna be a classic if I'm just gonna get another one that sounds exactly like it like 2 months later. Thank you. My wife is the best, y'all. I'm doing a lot of talking and I won't hydrate myself. So she's looking out. But yeah, like I rarely put out. Like sometimes I be thinking like maybe I gotta put out stuff more frequently, but I'm like nah, because I'm definitely not putting out anything that I'm not 100% proud of, just for the sake of putting some stuff out. Yeah, I mean, if you can put your own spin on it, and it still like satisfy their desire to have something that sounds like the reference track. Respect. I mean, reference tracks is a big part of like songwriting and producing anyway. I mean, I definitely use reference tracks to make sure that my mix is the way it needs to be. But like I said, there's a difference between like you can be inspired by the reference track, which it sounds like that's what you're doing. Like you're inspired by the sound of the reference track, or the idea that they're presenting to you, but you're still putting your own spin on it. You're just using the elements that kind of stick out in that track to satisfy what the artist wants. But there's people that do just like a one-to-one copy, and that's where I have a problem. Like what you're doing, I don't see no problem with that, and that's a big part of the game, honestly. But I is somebody trying to just do a one-to-one copy, because that's what that's a big problem with like Spotify playlists and playlist aggregators and stuff like that. Just because this, they're trying to put together something, I guess, that sounds cohesive, but in the process, they're just grabbing a bunch of artists that all sound exactly the same, and they're just putting together like a 50-song playlist, and it just sounds like the same song over and over again. So now people are afraid to be creative, because man, if I sound too left field, even if like if it fits the vibe check, but it's too left field, so I'm not gonna be able to put it on my playlist, or it just doesn't fit what we're looking for. Yeah, like see something like that, where like okay, I'm gonna start off with the elements. Okay, they like this type of kick, or maybe they're looking for a certain kind of like a dark piano melody, like a Metro Boomin type thing. But then I just you just put your own twist on it. It'd be good. Like if anything, if I'm in the mood, like if I hear a track that I like and it's like okay, it got me inspired, I'll copy the BPM and the key. Like I'll put it in the same key and maybe do the same BPM. Like okay, it wasn't with this song, but I could have been listening to a track on Tidal. Tidal's the best streaming service, by the way. Um, I could be listening to a track on Tidal, and I'll go, okay, let me look up the song BPM and the key, and I'll use that as my starting point. But then after that, I'll just kind of go crazy and just do whatever I want. Yeah, that's a big. That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like stuff is all everything sounds the same now, because everything is for TikTok. Everything is for Spotify playlists. Everything's for the algorithm. Like it's this artist is popping, so we gotta like imitate what they're doing. That's where it really comes from. Like it's like okay, this guy took off. Like Travis Scott is hot, so we all doing Travis Scott. NBA YoungBoy is hot, so we all doing NBA YoungBoy sound. Um, Lil Baby's the number one artist, so we're all gonna like imitate Lil Baby. Like it's like that. Whoever goes number one, like the first rapper to go number one in the year 2023, I promise you, everybody's gonna imitate whatever they did. Because everybody's chasing that, like trying to figure out what's gonna work instead of just trying to be original. And I think that's where the problem is. And I know it's business. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't understand that it's business, and that's just how it's all about making money at the end of the day. But at some point, you know, these little cash grabs is gonna hurt the industry for the long run. So if you're trying to make a quick buck now, I'm like, okay, cool, it'll work. But eventually, like, people are gonna be tired of being force fed the same shit, and then people are gonna respond with their money and respond with their time. And there's so many things now that are like taking everybody's attention. Like, you have to compete with television, like streaming platforms, social media. It's just so much stuff on your phone, just on your phone, that could take you away from listening to this album. So if you give me the same thing, I would rather be doing something else. Oh yeah, no. I know. I mean, it's there's certain things that are just part of the creative process that everybody follows. Like, it's not a so I mean, using the same key, using the same BPM. Hell, you can use the same chord progression. It's just what you do with it. Like, those are like foundational elements, and then what you build on top of it. Because most, like, it's just like building a house. Like, building a house, there's certain foundation types that it's like maybe two or three or four that every structure, no matter if it's a house, no matter if it's a skyscraper, like, they all use the same, starting foundation point. It's just what you build on top of it that makes it what it is. Yeah, it's a double edged sword. Like, sometimes I go back and forth. I don't know who's the problem. If it's like the record execs, if it's the artist, or if it's the fans. Because if the fans aren't responding positively to the music, then the artists wouldn't make it, and then the record execs wouldn't put the money behind it. But then because I've seen people be gaslit into liking shit after a while. Like, there's been plenty of times where I've heard a song and everybody is in agreement that this shit is whack. Like, this song is terrible. Like, it's more like a joke it's more like you're listening to it as a joke, like as a meme or whatever. But then people will play it enough, then all of a sudden it become like people are unironically listening to it and unironically enjoying it. And I was just like, we were all just saying that this song was trash not so long ago, but it's being fed, whether it be the algorithm or marketing, or it's like everybody's laughing, poking fun at this song, sharing it, and eventually, like, it kind of like it's in everybody's circulation. Like, I always say, and like I had to, because I'm not on Twitter anymore, but when I was on Twitter, I had to stop myself one day, and I realized that I'm talking more about the artists that I don't like than the artists that I do like. And a lot of people use that to their advantage. I mean, all like it's that old saying like all publicity is good publicity. No matter whether it's good or bad, people are talking about you. So it's like every year when they put out the freshman cover, and they have all these artists that freestyle that don't really know how to freestyle, and outside of their normal confines, like the because it's the production, it's how they're mixed and mastered. Like it's just like taking a singer that sounds really good on record and they sound terrible live. It's like that with these artists, but they take those artists that are not good at freestyling and they make them freestyle, and everybody just laughs and like has fun with it. Like, oh my god, this is terrible. This is probably the worst one yet. Blah blah blah. And then I used to say to myself, why do they have these artists that clearly don't freestyle and are not good with rapping like in this type of setting? Why do they do this? It's because every time they put it out, it gets so much engagement because of how terrible it is. Because people would rather talk about these terrible freestyles from these freshman cover artists than like the new Killer Mike album or the new Navy Blue album or the new Earl Sweatshirt album, Denzel Curry album, Joey Badass album. Like, people are talking more about the artists that they hate and how terrible hip hop has become more than the artists that they like. So that's when I had to stop, and I realized I'm giving these dudes free promotion, and I hate their music. So it's like one of those things where like you really have to be careful about how you do it. It's because sometimes I wonder if that was always the plan, or they just kind of saw the opportunity. Like I watch. I don't know if you're on Twitter or not, but if you are on Twitter, when the freshman cover freestyles start coming out, and I mean they might have already come out. I don't really fuck with them no more, and I don't really pay them no attention. But they'll trend number one every time. But if you click on it and you see what people are saying, they're all talking about how terrible they are. But it's still attention either way, and then that's all they care about. Yeah, that was true. And then they kind of like faded out real fast. I say the same thing about DJ Mustard. Like, I know DJ Mustard's still out here, but there was a period where he was producing for everybody, and then it quickly became apparent like this dude's stuff all sounds the same. Like, you got somebody like, cause they take of like Pharrell and the Neptunes. Like, they stuff sounded like, if you really listen to it back to back to back, a lot of this stuff, because you heard a lot of the same sounds over and over again in this stuff, like the Neptune sound. But like, they were so diverse with it, and they worked with a diverse roster of artists that it really didn't feel like that at the time. But if you sat down and you really played their stuff back to back to back, no matter if they were producer for Britney Spears to Jay-Z to Justin Timberlake, like a lot of that shit sounded the same. But they were so good at crafting it in a way that it didn't feel that way. And I don't think a lot of producers later down the line, like another guy that is very like criminally underrated, and it's mainly down to the artists that they work with, but Metro Boomin. Metro Boomin stuff, for the most part, uses a lot of the same sounds in a lot of his production, but I feel like he's able to craft it in a way that it feels diverse and it doesn't feel as samey as like like what you were talking about, the Runners and DJ Mustard. Damn, really? What song did Mike Dean produce for Designer? I don't remember that. He didn't do Panda. That's the only song I know. Did he do Timmy Turner? that was like a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm not even gonna lie. I actually really like that song. The freshman cover thing made it funny, but when I heard the actual song when it came out, I was like, all right, that's a guilty pleasure of mine. But he didn't really have too much on there. Yeah, that's better. Cause cause I always tell people if you want to have a debate, like an actual debate, like a not even a debate, just to have an actual conversation, don't go on Twitter. Like you're trying to cause it don't matter what it is. It's music, politics, uh, your favorite TV show, uh, sports. Like, don't go on Twitter, yo. You because there's a lot of people on there that you're arguing back and forth. You just kind of don't understand like why are they so dense. They're trolling, bro. They're trolling you. There's really no incentive for them to change their opinion because they don't really care. I've seen some people like on there wilding so hard, and then just then the next couple of tweets is that they're just like giddy over people just being so triggered by what you're saying, and then you realize and then there'll be blogs and stuff that kind of run with their original tweet that had everybody so up in arms, and then you realize oh, they just did that to troll everybody. Oh, so that was the Mike Dean beat, the Timmy Turner track. Okay, see that's why I liked it. Cause I like cause Mike Dean is dope as fuck. Like he's one of those guys that I look at, especially the stuff that he does with Travis Scott, and I'm blown away. Um, there's really not a lot of producers now that really do that for me. Soundwave, like Kendrick's producer, is somebody I definitely watch. Uh, I'm trying to think of because I can't really think of any modern producers that really do that for me now. That's really it. Oh, so Mike Dean didn't do that beat. Matter of fact, let me look it up. Let me look it up. I always go in my head you know, what is such and such, and then I realized we got Google in our hands. I don't need to be really racking my brain that hard. Yeah, who produced this? Oh yeah. So it was Mike Dean. It says Mike Dean and designer are listed as producers on that track. That was a good one. That was a good one. But that was pretty much it for designer after that. Um, but yeah, man. I feel in fact, the Kendrick line on Hood Politics, he was they say they miss when hip hop was rapping. Motherfucker, if you did, Killer Mike would be platinum. I think about that a lot. I think about that line all the time because I think about how people get on here and boaster and posture about being oh, I wish real music would come back. Oh, why are you're not looking for it, yo. I think you need if you really wanted to hear real music, because there's so much music that I come across. There's so much music that I come across that I fall in love with and nobody's talking about. My thing is, every Friday I get my phone, I open my phone, go straight to title, and I try to see who came out, and I look at the album cover. If I've never heard of the artist before, I go to the album cover, and if the album cover catches my attention, I listen to it, and that method seems to always I find some of the dopest artists. that I had never heard of before, and it'd be some of the best music I've heard all year, and it's not talked about. But I really feel like people should take the time to like listen or like talk about or just try to discover, because we wouldn't be saying where is the real music if people took the time to try to find the real music, because it's there. It's just not like, I feel like the difference between the artist you hate and the artist you love is the label backing and the marketing budget. Like there's like your favorite artist is out there. Like your new favorite artist is out there. The person that can get you back to that feeling that you're saying is lost with music. Like I feel like that person is out there, and it's not just what you used to listen to in 2000 and 1995 or 1993. Like they're putting out that music in 2023. You just got to take the time out and try to find it instead of just being fed the bullshit that you say you hate. Yeah, I deleted my Twitter back in 20 last year in March 2020, 2022. Damn. Um I deleted my Twitter because I woke up one morning and I remember being in a good mood. I had a good night's sleep. I had a good dream. Like I don't remember what happened the day before, but I just remember going to bed and waking up in a good mood, and then I opened Twitter and I saw something, and it instantly like ruined my day. And it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy sometimes, like especially like even now I'm kind of fighting the thought like that sounds crazy. But like these platforms, that's what they're kind of designed to do, because of that level of psychological control is what keeps you on there, which is what is how they're able to sell ads and stuff like that, is to keep users on there all the time. These platforms are designed to piss you off, especially Twitter now that Elon Musk owns it. Like now it's definitely thriving off of the hatred that people kind of spew on the app and the feelings that people have towards it. That's why I got off of it. I mean, even like I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, it's the same shit, but I feel like Twitter is just like worse because of how fast the stream of bullshit like can be thrown at you. Like I feel like Instagram just wants to show me pictures that I like, whether it's motivational quotes or it's other music things or like puppies, whatever you're into. Whereas like Twitter is actually like triggered by the stuff that you hate. Because like I said with the music thing, like it's kind of, you can kind of take that same thing what I said about music and like people talking about the artists they hate and just apply it to anything. Like people love to get on Twitter and talk about the stuff that they hate or like make fun of some shit, but they never really, they're like positivity is gonna get swallowed up. It's not for Twitter. Like Twitter is for people to get on there and argue and try to tear each other down and tear each other apart. Yeah, man. I mean, I know that you said like Twitter is kind of good. Like, see, part of me, so it's easy for me to get off Twitter for my music thing because I really didn't feel like I was getting a lot of traction musically on Twitter anyway. So getting rid of Twitter wasn't that big of a sacrifice. But you said that you're making good connections on Twitter and stuff like that, and it's really helping you with your music. I would say post and go, post and go. If like I use apps like Hootsuite and Planable and Later, but I think Later now you have to pay for. But I use those I used to use those apps when I didn't want to look at Twitter but still wanted to post on Twitter. Like if I had something to promote, Cause then I don't look at the feed at all. I could set it up to where like I can only see people that like are like mention me or like tag me and stuff, and I can see the posts that I do, but I don't see the rest of the feed at all. But even that wasn't enough sometimes, because you get because I had to delete it because you get the pull of like, oh, something happened or everybody's talking about this or that, and it was like this pull, like, all right, either I want to see it, and maybe I want to be a part of the conversation. That was my problem. I had this pull, like something would happen, like the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing at the Oscars. Like I had taken Twitter off my phone because I said I don't want to be done with it for just a little bit. This is right before I decided to delete my account altogether, and but then it happened like maybe a day or two. It might have even been the same day. I deleted the app and I was like, all right, I'm done with it for a little bit. And then the slap happened. And then now I'm downloading the app, signing back in so I can be a part of the conversation. Try to see what people are saying and like try to throw on my 2 cents. But then I thought about it after a while. It didn't do anything but just piss me off. It just kind of had me in this foul mood going forward. And it's not worth it. Mentally, it's not worth it. The first 30 days off Twitter, I felt so great, and I haven't looked back since. So, and because because it wasn't really benefiting me professionally and personally, it was causing me so much grief. I just had to let that shit go. All right, I got a video pulled up. I'm gonna play that real quick. There it is. For anybody that's on here that hasn't seen it, let's watch. 'Cause my little boy got to make his debut. Yeah, I'm about to pop my shit. Pop it. Yeah, I'm about to talk my shit. Talk it. Yeah, I'm about to. Vinnie. Right from the jump, I was all in it. I was out making plays, it was all business. Once I hopped off the porch, I was on a mission. First it started with a dream, then I made a vision. I got all of these blessings, cause God did. But no Khaled, I'm one of them widow niggas. I might stumble at times, but don't make no difference. Ain't no stopping this shit, man. What I look like folding over setback. Pause the tape, rewind, reset, and play back. Once you think I'm out, here comes the comeback. Watch your mouth, I always get my get back. Damn. They already know who I am. Stay down 10 toes like a man. You content to be on your knees. That's why it's hard to see where you stand. Damn. Right from the start, man, I came from the heart. Then I came out the dark and I found my way. Right from the start, man, I came from the heart. Then I came out the dark and I found my way. Straight from the heart and I found my way. Came out the dark and I found my way. Straight from the heart and I found my way. Came out the dark and I found my way. Doing pretty good, but when I answer this big head badass kids, huh? I remember vividly these niggas dropping dead and said I wasn't gonna be shit, I wasn't gonna have shit, huh? And that's crazy, cause everything you niggas try to say about me came back on your ass quick, huh? Same ones that was there counting me out, can't count enough money just to pay back rent, huh? And that's crazy, I wasn't gonna let you tell me what I wasn't. Starting the bottom just to overcome it. I started with zero, now I'm out to something. The merch is available now.
I'm out to nothing, damn.
I'm gonna post about it more.
They already know who I am. Handle my shit like a man. You feel a little pressure, you act like a bitch, so you wouldn't understand.
Links in the bio.
Right from the start, man, I came from the heart, then I came out the dark and I found my way. Right from the start, man, I came from the heart, then I came out the dark and I found my way. Straight from the heart and I found my way. Came out the dark and I found my way. Straight from the heart and I found my way. Came out the dark and I found my way. Right from the start, man, I came from the heart, then I came out the dark and I found my way. Right from the start, man, I came from the heart, then I came out the dark and I found my way. Straight from the heart and I found my way. Came out the dark and I found my way. Straight from the heart and I found my way. Came out the dark and I found my way.
And the walk off. Perfect, man. Nah, that was fun. That boy is heavy. That boy is heavy, yo. Oh, man. Yo, but he was so cool. He was so cool, the whole video shoot. Like he was just all he wanted to do was touch the microphone. There was a couple times where I had to like grab his hand and go like, all right, babe, I need you to like work with me here. But other than that, like he was so great. Like he's definitely like the coolest little baby. Nah, you good, man. Nah, you actually, bruh. B that D dot, I appreciate you a lot uh, for like just having this back and forth with me. Cause this it helped the time fly by. Cause yeah, we only got like 15 minutes left, and I had no idea what I was really gonna talk about other than like show the process of making the beat, and then maybe like discuss the video and the song. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the questions and just the like the banter back and forth. Yeah, I think so too, man. Like like I said, the album is in its infancy right now, but I felt like this was like the perfect song to just kind of kick things off. Even with like how incomplete things were, like I already kind of have the vision on how I want things to go, and I definitely felt like this was the song, like the perfect song to kind of kick things off. Yeah, he was so cool the whole time, and I was worried because it was getting close to like his nap time, like during the shoot. And I was worried he was gonna get fussy, but nah, he kept it cool the whole time. Like, little man is only like he'll actually be 10 months in a few days actually, and he's already a professional. Like there's that saying like you don't work with babies and don't work with animals, but like my son is the exception, obviously, because he definitely already knows what he's doing. Oh, matter of fact, I'm gonna show this. I'm gonna show this off, right? Oh, crap! I just realized you can't hear me if I do that. So I'm gonna just pull this up. I was gonna post it on Father's Day, but now it's like I don't want to like spoil it. But this is what my wife got me for Father's Day. Like this is a screen capture from the video shoot. And that was yeah. Then just a little smile, just a little smile and stuff. I was like, this is like one of those things where regardless of how the video does or the song does or whatever, like just this moment with me and my little boy, like I'm gonna be able to cherish that forever. So like, and like honestly, as far as like rollouts for new songs and stuff go, like today was perfect. Today was perfect. Just the feedback, uh, just the energy, just that feeling of that feeling like when you have something that you really want to put out, and you're trying to get your ducks in a row. You're trying to make sure that you hit up media. You gotta make you're trying to make sure that the music is you know done the way it needs to be done, like mixing and mastering wise. Uh, make sure the shoot's done. And even doing them skits, man. I'm telling you, like behind the scenes stuff always go left, and I think that's why I'm so calm when shit go left now, because I'm just kind of expecting it. You can have everything mapped out to a T. Try to make sure that you got everything. Like make sure you got everything like in order, and you think you covered all bases and stuff like that, but some always go left. Shit always go left before showtime, but I mean it's just kind of part of the business now. I would kind of feel weird if it didn't, at this point. But the day of the song coming out, like everything just felt like the perfect storm, from like getting blog placements and playlists placements, like just the outpour of love that I've been getting for like the video and just the song in general. Like it's probably as perfect of a rollout for a new song that I've ever had as long as I've been doing this. So today was just perfect, and like getting it ended out off with y'all. For the people that showed up for the live stream, I really appreciate that. What was I about to say? Oh man, yeah. I'm glad you learned something from the process. Like I'm still like learning myself. Like I feel like I'm learning a lot when it comes to like music production. So the fact that you was able to learn something from me is dope. So I'm glad. And yeah, like I definitely think it's a good song to get people ready. Don't ask me when new music coming out because I have no idea. And I definitely want to let this song breathe for a little bit. But just in general, like things is not. But beyond this song, things is not ready yet. I'm gonna just be completely honest with you. Oh, if anybody has recommendations, hold on, it's right here. How to get this is actually like beard oil, and I've washed this shirt a couple times, and for some reason I can't get it out. I'm gonna figure it out at some point, but but yeah, merchandise is out. I talked about it during the video shoot, but yeah, like make sure y'all cop that. It's in the fan link that I put out with the single release. So it'll be in the description of this video and in the link in the bio of all my social media platforms. But yeah, man, definitely like appreciate all the love and support. And doing this live stream shit is fun. So I'm definitely gonna be doing this more often. This is my first one. I've done a couple test streams, but ain't tell nobody about them. But this is my first time like really sitting down and like sitting through a whole stream, and this was fun. Oh, hey, I appreciate that, man. I definitely put a lot of work into it, and I used to get wrapped up in like certain people rocking like that I felt like should be rocking with me and whatever, but I I don't really get caught up in this shit no more. Like I said it with my last album, especially because it was so left field. But I feel like I just speak for those. I just speak for those who listen. Like I put out music for people who listen. Like I don't really. Like, I'm not worried about catching everybody's ears. I'm just worried about catching the people that really rock with me. Like really the audience that are there for me and that is showing love and showing support. Like those are the people I really care about. I really don't. And I'm not worried about reaching everybody, because if you everybody's favorite, then you're nobody's favorite. Oh yeah, please do, man. Matter of fact, I could probably do some more like beat breakdowns and just discussions. Hell, that discussion we didn't want to talk about on this live stream. About like today's society and marriage and kids. Hell, that might be the next stream. Like I don't shy away from nothing. I don't shy away from no topics. Only topics I don't like talking about is relationship shit, like men versus women stuff. It's so played out at this point. I don't care. First of all, I'm married. I'm out of the game. I don't really care what these other motherfuckers is doing. But even before that, I never want to talk about this stuff because it's so like generic at this point. Like I feel like there's a billion things that people can talk about. We can talk about music. We can talk about space and time. We can talk about technology, like future technology. We can talk about politics. We can talk about a lot of stuff But I feel like niggas get a microphone and a webcam and get like five of them niggas and come around and just talk about the same fucking topics all the time. Like, I'm just tired of it. Even if I had something to contribute to it, I don't want to talk about it. Like, if I had anything to say, I just don't even have the energy or just want to put in the effort to say anything about it, honestly. I mean, there's people with evil intentions everywhere, man. Like, I stopped going with the whole like, oh, women this and men this. I think it just kind of comes from, you know, I'm a heterosexual man, so if I have something to complain about with the opposite sex, usually because I'm dating and dating isn't going well. So instead of just saying, hey, that girl that I was talking to or that woman I was talking to was a piece of shit, it's a lot easier for people to just like paint this broad brush to everybody. But I'm like, nah. I feel like is everybody has the capacity to be good. Everybody has the capacity to be evil. Uh, there's really no like broad brush you can just paint on one particular group of people. Um, it's just kind of like it's kind of like one of those things where it just is what it is. I just said instead of sitting around talking about like we were talking about with music and artists and stuff, instead of sitting around talking about who you don't like or who don't like you, just stick with who you like and just keep it moving. Oh, nah, you good. I know what you meant. I know you, so I know what you meant. But I just know that, and I just wanted to clarify because if somebody saw the chat later down the line, they could try to skew it that way. But no, it's really just about rocking with the people that like you, and not worrying about. And I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying in general when people make those broad assumptions. Just rocking with the people that like you, and just saying f them people that don't like you. Because I've dealt with I've I've had those interactions before that like kind of trigger a lot of those conversations with women back in the day, like before I met my wife. And you know they would say one thing, and let's just say like later down the line, you would find out that that person was like a bullet dodge. I'm just gonna say that. And then you start to go, sometimes, that girl did you dirty or whatever. Like, if she really wanted to be with you, and the relationship or whatever probably would have been a whole lot worse. So it might have been a bullet dodge. No, that's just one way to look at it. But yeah, I am tired. And because I was with my son all day, and he's crawling now, so that means he is a lot more. He has a lot more to deal with, and he will wear you out real fast. But he is, he is the greatest though. But yeah, he got me wore out. But at first I didn't even know if I was gonna have energy to do this live stream, but I'm glad I did. We had a really dope conversation, and make sure y'all continue to stream the song. Found My Way out now on streaming platforms. The album name to be announced at a later date, but it is coming before the end of the year. And I definitely want to make sure I give y'all some dope shit. Dope shit. Like, trust me, this song right here is the beginning some dope shit that I'm gonna give y'all. But till next time, y'all have a good night. Peace.